This is William K. Murtaugh, Brent Witness 1, and I want to start off with um, something that came about late last night and early this morning. And that is there seems to be a concern about my association with and promotion of Kevin Marsden, um, who has provided me some information on Field McConnell. Now, as usually the case with individuals that one meets from time to time, there's going to be those that support the individual and those that do not. In this case, there seems to be some dispute over the past history of Mr. Marsden. Now, I don't know the man that well. I was referred to him a long time ago because he was writing, or actually, he was making videos about Field McConnell. And Mr. Sawyer and A Babel Danger. And because of that, I checked in with him, and then he got a hold of me and volunteered me some information through his YouTube channel. And that's basically as far as it's been. We've had very minimal personal contact by private message. But, when looking into situations like these, sometimes you're going to get sources of information that not a lot of people agree with. And that's apparently what happened here. Now, I don't know the full story between Mr. Marsden and his critics. I don't fault people for having disagreements. It happens. I'm not taking sides in the situation. I'm working with one concerned party to find out what the concerns is with the information. There's a slight difference in the information, being that Mr. Sawyers was introduced to Field McConnell by the other pilot that was mentioned, and that may or may not be the case. The part that I'm interested in all this is Field McConnell and how he came involved with the fake Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and his questionable activities. I'm not all that concerned with Mr. Sawyer, although he seems to have been involved with Mr. McConnell early on. And I do have some questions as far as the various theories that Mr. Sawyer has. But other than that, I'm not interested in anything else, to be quite frank. But as time goes on, I hope to straighten this situation and find out just exactly what the closest is to the truth that I can get out of the various versions of the story of Field McConnell and those around him. As for Mr. McConnell, we are in yet another day in jail. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon when I make this recording, so I will not know until I get to the airport and I'm waiting around what the exact situation is as far as Mr. McConnell getting on the air and doing another one of his Bible readings and so on and so forth. As of 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we had not heard from Mr. Holmes yet. So it's kind of unknown what he is up to. I suppose by the time I start working on editing this presentation, we'll have some idea of what his quote-unquote theory is today. And it's likely going to be another bit of nonsense like he always gets into, and that'll give me fodder for my Wednesday monologue. Now, a bit of interesting news happened regarding the Colorado kidnapping, and it's got everybody kind of scratching their heads. Some people are concerned, and I thought I would give my take of the situation. Now, naturally, since these are all conspiracy theories that are involved in this case, and there are conspiracy theorists out there in the Q group that are going to chime in, there's going to be all sorts of crap that's going to come about because this case has been sealed. A judge involved in the case has sealed all information about it. So nothing is going to be released to the public for the time being. And everybody seems to think that the Arkansas politician has something to do with it. And with that, I'm going to disagree. I don't think the situation in Arkansas has anything to do with the case. What I do seem to think is going on is that this is an ongoing investigation. It's an active investigation. And as usually the case in these things is they don't want principals in the case to have certain information. And by that, I mean people of interest and outright suspects. Because the stories have been out there about how the woman and her companion had help in this alleged attempted kidnapping. And we all know who the people are. Now, what normally happens when you have this kind of investigation where you've got one or more suspects is that investigators are still working to piece together what happened and build their case for prosecution. And because of that, they don't want witnesses trying to get their story straight. People may be fleeing from justice so that they're that much harder to arrest and so forth. And so they clamp down on information to keep stuff from leaking out. So probably for about the next couple, 3 months or so, give or take, we're not going to hear much about the Colorado case. Except for if somebody gets on a talk show or something gets leaked out, which is rare in this type of a situation. But some of the people involved, or who have been alleged to have been involved, may want to lawyer up. Because when you get into an investigation where a judge seals it, that means that somebody is in very serious trouble, and it's not just the man and woman that attempted this kidnapping. It's about people that may have conspired with them. The provider of the weapons, the provider of the car, the provider of money, the provider of food and shelter, advice. There's all kinds of things swimming around this Colorado case. And so by having this case sealed, the people that might have been involved in this might want to lawyer up, because this is a clear indication that they are in really, really bad trouble. And it's a lesson to be learned that, you know, if you're going to go off and get involved with these fringe groups, you better prepare to take the risk. Because things are starting to coalesce. You have various investigations that are starting to come together. And while I'm at it, I want to touch upon another subject here. I've noticed in my comments that people are attempting to guess the letter writer. And I'm not going to get into details about who they have named, or one individual has named as a suspect for the writing of the letter. I'm not going to say anything about the individual that they have mentioned. But I'm going to say this. I checked out the information that the letter writer gave me, because there's more than one source besides this particular letter writer. There's other people, and these other people work for the government. They currently work in the Pentagon, they currently work in the Department of Justice, and so forth. So I have more than one source of information. And I can confirm to you that what the letter writer says is true. That there are quite a number of people within the Pentagon, within the Department of Defense, within the Department of Justice, and within the State Department that are quite irritated what's going on. And there are also the official investigations going on in these various departments. So, Field McConnell, Tim Holmseth, and the others have walked into a hornet's nest, because they've got people that actually work in these places that are not happy that all these lies going around about the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and the Children's Crusade. Mainly about the Pedophile Task Force, because that's a direct involvement of the State Department, it's direct involvement of the Department of Defense, and so on and so forth. And so you're going to get people that are not happy with Field McConnell, Tim Holmseth, and their constant lies about these agencies, and the fact that, they're using these agencies as a way to gain fame, and in return, there is money involved. No matter how much people try and deny it in their camp, there is money involved, and lots of it. You don't go buying people cars and providing them with places to stay and winter clothing and stuff for the hell of it. There's a motive. And it's just not to get some old buzzard with weird conspiracy theories out of jail. There's more to this. And the more to this is the fact that Field McConnell is an income generator. Over the years, he's built up a large audience of people that believe this crap, and they need to get him out so that they can milk the people for their money. And the longer they can keep Field McConnell active, the better. Because there's going to come a point quite soon when Field McConnell's going to have to be replaced. Now, the doctor is in the process of taking things over. It's kind of a melting in process. And that's what we have going on right now. The Children's Crusade has started another channel and on YouTube. And so we're going to have the Children's Crusade involved in fundraising and phony child rescues and that sort of thing. Eventually there's going to be fundraising out there. Just haven't quite determined how that's going to work. But it's going to be a day-by-day thing. So it's just one of these things we watch and wait and see what develops. Yeah, and another subject, and that is of my forthcoming trips and so on. I would like to again say that I am also working on trying to get the links necessary for those of you who wish to participate to contribute either to my Patreon account, which is now up and running, but I got to get the links over to YouTube. And I'm also going to start a PayPal and GoFundMe for those that don't want to be committed to a monthly donation pledge, where if you want to, you can just give a couple bucks here and there. But that'll come. I haven't been in a real big hurry to set the thing up, because quite honestly, I never expected to get into a fundraising drive. But in order to do these remote broadcasts where I have to leave the state of Florida, it's necessary. Traveling is not cheap, and I'm retired. I don't have a pension or anything like that. All I have is my Social Security. And those of you who may be on Social Security know that you really don't have a lot of money to throw around. And because of that, this is a necessary step that I have to take if I'm going to be doing these remote broadcasts. And so that's where we're at. And so, whatever you feel like contributing, I appreciate it. And we'll take it one step at a time. There's no real big hurry to get anything together, because nothing's going to really start happening here in at least for the next 3 months. As time grows closer, I may increase the promotion of these trips so that I can start lining up what I'm going to need to go to these various locations, and we'll see how this goes. So with that, I'm going to close it out for today, and I will see you on Twitter and Facebook, mostly on Twitter, maybe on YouTube. I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe on YouTube, because I want to build the numbers up so I can start live streaming while mobile, and you can see where I'm going and what may be causing all the background noise you hear when I'm driving in the car. And for those of you who are in knee-deep in snow, you get to see what it's like not to be knee-deep in snow in the middle of January. Give you a taste of Florida. Anyway, have a good day. Hope everything goes good for everybody. Keep on keeping on. And this is William K. Murtaugh, Murt Witness 1. Have a good one.